Hey everybody, Toby from the Cabo Fishing Podcast, as well as the Porch Marvita and Red Rum Sport Fishing here in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. I just wanted to send everybody a great message for the holidays, all right? We are exceptionally thankful, grateful, humbled by everyone choosing to fish with us this year and doing all that you do to support us and support the economy down here in Cabo San Lucas in the Baja California Sur. And we just wanted to say happy holidays to everybody. Exceptionally Merry Christmas to those of the Christian faith like myself. Happy Hanukkah to our Jewish brothers and sisters out there. And for all the other faiths that I'm not saying the appropriate name of your celebration, we just wish you the best holiday and the best 2024 that you can imagine. May all your dreams come true. May your kids be healthy, achieve great things. May your families, continue to be blessed. And no matter what happens, we're all in this together on this planet. So let's do it together in peace and harmony.
Being born in the Pacific Northwest, northern British Columbia, near the Alaskan border, I spent my childhood chasing big fish, big salmon, big trout, big steelhead, and that love for big fish led me to faraway places, both with literature and then physically. It was reading Ernest Hemingway and Robert Louis Stevenson, going after big fish in exotic locations, that brought me to a desire to travel the world and go fishing.
Some people want to come and participate in some of the richest money tournaments that exist in the sport fishing world, and those are here in Los Cabos. And we can, give you an insider's view on how to do it, kind of help you crack that code and give you a cheat button in terms of signing up for it, or, learning about how to charter a boat. And it happens in the water, and it does involve big things with fins and tails that swim, but the humpback whale migration comes to the Los Cabos area, and it is one of the neatest nurseries for these large mammals, the humpback whales. And it's so neat to watch these family units, mom, dad, and these little toddlers splash around. And while we're out fishing, they are part of the backdrop, they're part of the experience. And while the fishing is slower this time of year in the throes of winter, you overlook it because you're surrounded by one of the greatest creations on the planet, these huge mammals, and it's just a wonder to behold. And it's so neat to realize how small you are, even on a big boat, how small you are in the water with these beautiful creatures, and they really put on a show. Like the soil coming off the Sierras and kind of washing down that sediment, the minerals is really fertile land, and a lot of the mint, the spinach, a lot of this lettuce and stuff is coming from right here. That's one of my favorite things about being here in Cabo is the ability, because it is still, like you said, it's a sleepy little beach community, and you can still, do things and enjoy things that are fresh and wild.
And it's really cool having Pescadero up the road with all the seasonal vegetables. We're getting a little bit more availability of bringing things in from other places, but I think the things that are coming from here are really nice.
Really, people don't realize, but just up the highway is Pescadero, where there's some amazing agriculture up there. Tomatoes, strawberries, amazing fresh produce coming from right here, which makes it pretty cool. So I have a serious affliction in life, and it's your barbecue oysters. Since you introduced them into my life, I probably have them 5 times a week, at least. Tell us about them.
So these barbecue oysters are sort of a mix of something I had at a steakhouse in Vegas and local flavors. So I had barbecue oysters, I can't remember where it was in Vegas, but they had a similar flavor balance as these, and I swapped out that barbecue sauce and made it Mexican with the chipotle, with a little bit of tequila, garlic. So they're pretty simple. It's just a butter, tequila, chipotle, garlic, and that's about it.
Red Rum Sport Fishing and other top companies here in Baja have partnered with Gray's Taxidermy, which developed a conservation program called Gray Fish Tag Research, where instead of killing the fish, we put a research tag on the fish.
This tag then can provide feedback to a database, and then if captured again, all this information is provided to that angler. It also allows the angler to document the time and location of that memorial catch and even to name the fish. So like, that memory goes on forever. There are some myths and misconceptions here about marine taxidermy, and unlike mammalian taxidermy, the skin of the animal is not required to complete the process. In marine taxidermy is actually an artistic recreation of the species and not the actual species. Once the fish is captured, a couple of pictures can be taken, some measurements made, and all that information will provide the artist the ability to recreate that amazing fish and that catch in that moment in time for you.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, in January of 2022, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer.
Ugh.
Yeah. And I got a bucket list, right? So I got on the internet and I looked for the best reviews and, you know, spare no expense. I wanted to go with the guys that get it done, right? All the reviews talk about it and it's the truth. You guys get it done. I wanted to get a marlin. It was on my bucket list. So you got it done for me. Praise the Lord.
Well, exactly, because we like that extra pressure. Like there's that pressure that you always want to perform as a fisherman. If you don't catch fish, you're just a guy out there, taking people on boat rides. Yeah. And Gilligan's Island, while a great show, doesn't deserve to keep having those kind of reruns. Yeah. It really doesn't. Just saying, hey, Marianne, let it go. But, when we get that little bit of extra pressure in it, we're already impassioned by what we do. But when I talked to Juan, I talked to Renee, I talked to Chewy Para, that was the crew,
Yes.
That you had on this boat. Everyone pushed their chips to the center of the table and said, let's do it.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if we stay out a little bit later. It doesn't matter if we burn a little bit of extra diesel. Well, some people that bothers the burning of diesel. It does bother me too. But, what's more important? $7 a gallon or Glenn's bucket list? Yeah. So that's what we did.
We had to have legislation passed in Congress in Mexico City to get this done. So it was a process. But at the time, we were the 7th micro in the history of this country. So it was right in the nascency.
Single digits.
7, yeah. And then now there's, I think, 600 being built. So it's on the same trajectory as the U.S.
Wow.
And yeah, so, that's great, though. It took a little while for them because this is the 5th beer drinking country in the world.
Is correcto. Is correcto.
But it's all yellow fizzy beer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like light lagers and stuff like that. Everyone knows the names, but I'm not gonna say it. But so it's good to see that the palate has changed and people are getting into good beer.
Progress and evolution are a beautiful thing.
Our dough is pretty special. We actually had a little, not name dropping, but a little blurb in Food and Wine magazine about our pizzas.
No big deal.
But so we use our beer in our dough itself. We don't use any water. We use our special beer yeast, and you'll see that the seeds on the outside are spent grain, the barley that we use to make the beer.
No, but that's brilliant, right? But it's also, again, necessity is the mother of invention. What resources do we have available? Right. How can we best utilize those resources? And that's the flavor of Mexico, right? That's the flavor of Baja Sur. And you guys do that in so many different ways. So right now we're at the rooftop location. Yep. You also have San Jose. But I send people up here for, 1, the beer, 2, some of the things you do. The pizza is amazing. We're going to have one here in a little bit. But man, you guys do a pasteur. I've been fascinated with the rooster fish since coming down to Cabo. My fascination probably started about 12 years ago. I saw this fish and I was like, wow, this is one of the wildest looking fish I've ever seen. It's called the rooster fish because it has a mohawk that comes off the top of the dorsal area, and it's reminiscent of a rooster, a gallo. So it's the gallo de mar, the rooster of the sea. It is a super aggressive surf predator. So it's mainly found in the Eastern Pacific, ranging from Peru up into here into the Baja area. And
they can get quite large. They can range from like 10 pounds all the way to like 100 plus pounds. Now we don't get to see them that big typically. I love, when we're in the boats and I'm looking at the shore, when I'm on the shore myself, and I'm usually around a bunch of younger guys and kids, and it just fires me up to see that passion, to be coming up in the next generation, and that classic romantic passion of angling and fishing, being held up by the old timers as well.
Well, I have to say, so this is the guy that started it off for me. He took me on a veterans outdoor adventure trip, adrenaline adventure trip on a bear hunt, and that's where I learned about adrenaline adventure and mental health. Somebody there, while we were just talking, said this is some of the best mental health I've ever had. Mental health conversation they've ever had. And I don't think that veterans can get that anywhere other than with other veterans. And so it just, ignited a little spark in my head. And Alpha Elite Performance, my supplement company, we got to a point where we could say, hey, let's start a nonprofit where it could be AEP Outdoors, and that we could start taking veterans, primarily soft because I'm a retired Green Beret.
Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make the jalapeno cucumber margarita, one of the porch specialties. So you take the ingredients, which are cucumber, jalapeno, tequila, Controy, and pineapple, and throw them all into the blender. You blend them up nice and smooth. You add tahini onto the rim of a margarita glass. Add the ice in the glass. Pour the blended mixture into the glass. Serve and enjoy.
Italian, because that's a very personal influence, right?
Yeah. Well, we experience with different sauces and how to introduce Italian with the Mexican. So that's how we came out with a few recipes and just kind of play with it, with Italian food. So we came out with few plates and dishes that they're really good, like the risotto with chicken and chipaya, and different other dishes that we can
taking
offer.
two beautiful dishes and somehow infusing them together.
Yeah.
The Mexican influence, the Italian influence, and bring them together so you have a culinary experience.
Such a bounty. This is one of the most special fisheries on
Jacques
the planet.
Cousteau's playground.
It was Jacques Cousteau's playground. And the funny thing is, what brought Jacques Cousteau to the Baja is an underwater sand feature right here in the bay, literally out as
the
the
waterfall.
Exit. And 95% of the people that are swimming right at Pelican Rock have no idea
What's underneath them. The beauty.
Please join Travis and Alpha Elite Performance Outdoors, Red Rum Sport Fishing in Mar Vita, Rancho del Pescador. Please join us in Operation Billfish in 2023 to bring some very deserving veterans, special operations soldiers, sailors, and possibly an airman to Cabo San Lucas to go on a dream outdoor adventure. If you go to the link in bio, you can find the link tree to click on to donate. 100% of all funds raised for Operation Billfish go to Operation Billfish. There's no overhead in terms of the organization or the company, and we just want to get some very deserving guys out here. Travis, where can they find it online?
AEP Outdoors, 100% of it, like you said, goes back to our veterans. Just go to aepoutdoors.com and click on the link Operation Billfish. You'll see it.
We are guests.
Yeah.
When Chewy and I, were on Oso Blanco, and I was just trying to catch some footage. We were in pretty good distance, safe, and you realize when that huge erect dorsal comes up, you're like, oh, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah. And you realize how we were in a 33-foot blackfin our Oso Blanco, and when that dorsal fin comes up, and it's not to the side of the gun. I mean
Oh yeah, the alpha males.
Yeah, you're like, you're bigger than me.
Yeah.
You're bigger than my boat, and you feel so insignificant, you feel so small, and then you just like casually, like they both, move forward, so their body's like almost erect, walking into the water so that they can see, and then they mark, and then they like do like tail slaps, again to communicate. Okay, we're over here. Easier targetry here. It's just wild to like. We get so arrogant as humans, thinking that we have, because we have all these utensils, and when opposable comes, like we're like superior, right? And then you get out here and you realize like
We're in their element now.
we are guests. Uncle Frank had a jet boat, and he'd take me up the Cabo River, which is some of the best Chinook fishing in the world, and some of like two of the largest Chinooks ever caught freshwater, and like that experience, like being able to pass that and pay that forward. I'm excited to do it with my grandkids. Like my good friend Brad Strittmatter, and brought his boys down here, and being able to get Joe, Sam, and Davis on fish, just because this imprint, this memory, like these endorphins. It's unlike anything else.
Going from the harbor out to wherever you're going to be fishing, and you just drag a line as you're cruising out there, and you happen to catch a little whatever, a little Sierra, or a little Cabrilla, or whatever it might be. And it's a little one, so you're like, oh, let's just make some ceviche right here, right now. There's nothing like it. It's amazing.
I'm not saying that happens on a regular. There's a need for barbecue in every town in the world.
Oh yeah, absolutely. As people start to get to learn about barbecue, I mean, it's also a bit of a trend. There's a lot of shows on Netflix about it now. There's different competitions. People are starting to really learn about barbecue because it used to be a thing that was kind of isolated in the south of the U.S. and now it's really expanding. I mean, I follow a couple of profiles online that are in Dubai, and Qatar. So there's barbecue starting to get its reach around the world.
I bet that culturally is interesting.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
There's one called I think it's called Texas Bighorn Barbecue, I think is what it's called, and they do a lot of lamb. They do halal beef. They don't do any pork, obviously. So, but it's interesting watching them. But we already caught a blue marlin today, so we're like, what? But like, part of fishing and the key to success is having the right presentation for the fish, right? If you want to like impress that fish and like catch that fish, you can't give it a chicken nugget. You can't go get the McDonald's Happy Meal. You can't get that processed crap. You got to get the real thing. So we got some great mackerel. We got some great ballyhoo. We got some large ballyhoo that they caught. But it's like, we see flying fish all the time, and when you look in there, it's like so neat because you realize how big their wingspan is in terms of their fuselage. And so you understand like how they catch lift and how they work the ground effect coming off the water. And so it's like super neat to like see them up close and alive versus just flying off the bow pressure of your boat. Rumor has it that it's going to be over $1 million. So we're pretty pumped about that. And they'll shoot a couple of star clusters off and do a little thing over the radio. And in all these boats, so there's about 100 sport fishers here right now, and we're all gonna get after it. Throttle up, go to our best spot. We gotta go find some bait. We've got some really good dead bait prepared. We had some local fishermen go and get us some really good size. Hey, Chewy, hold up one of just a couple things of the local bait. We have some really large ballyhoo too. I'm not sure. That's a pretty, but we'll show that to you guys later. And but we're gonna go get some bonitas and we're gonna put them in the tuna tubes. Now, 9 times out of 10, this decision's super easy. Let it go. However, we're in a tournament for a lot of money, and no qualifying fish had gone to the scales. And so we had the opportunity if we had a fish that was 300 and 301 pounds to like make some money, some real money. And for us, like, that's helps our business, that helps our lives, you know, like that means a lot to my guys. It's not quite life-changing money, but it's life-affecting money for sure. And no qualifying fish have been taken to the scales. Good morning workout, and but I want to share with everybody, like, yes, this is absolutely a rookie mistake, and I made it. I'm the captain of the team. I'm the owner of the brand. I'm the ambassador of conservation for our company, and I messed up. I screwed up. I made the wrong decision. In the end, the buck stops with me. And you know, like, you know, this we as the airborne say, you rig it, you ride it, and you know, like, I have to own it, and I am. Now, this shortcoming, this failure, it's not fatal. It was for the fish, but it's not fatal for me.
This is one of the greatest things that we lack in American culture, like families, you know, endeavoring, you know, to enterprise and do great things. And like, this is a really cool young family. You know, I've been watching him for a year. You know, it started, I just drove by and I watched him out here by himself, just like, you know, with the one table and one little fire pit, just going at it. And they're from Argentina, so what we're gonna get tonight is more of an authentic Argentinian chorizo and beef sandwich, Troy picanha. And so it's really neat. So like, the Argentinian sausage and bread is like amazing. It's like this really cool chorizo, you know, and I liken it to the difference between like a barbecue sausage and a Polish sausage or an Italian sausage. It's a unique sausage. It's really good. It's not greasy. It's really enjoyable. Cooked over like lump coal. You know, you just got a really simple like firebox, and then like takes the ashes and then you like brings it under wire, and it's beautiful. I just love it. You know, there's something, you know, the way God intended, you know, cooking over fire, right? So I love it. You can sit out here with your neighbors and enjoy yourselves. And this really is. This is like one of the things that's really neat about Cabo is like you can eat dinner with your neighbors there. We've talked about, you know, the influences of a Hemingway and all these things. My very first striped marlin was a tiny little baby that still had a milk mustache. I caught it, you know, with red rum sport fishing probably 10 years ago in Cabo San Lucas, and you know, its mom was outside the boat, you know, screaming at us. Not really, but that's how I felt. The fish was so small, and it took me a couple years to actually get what I considered a reputable example of the species. I felt the same way about blue marlin. I've been on the boats where lots of blue marlin have been caught. I haven't done it. I've been handed the rod and unsuccessfully fought them, had them break off. And so like, I've had this like hanging over me that I got to get my own blue marlin from start to finish. It happened on our way up to the East Cape earlier this year. Super excited. We're going to the Bisbee East Cape tournament, and on our way up pre-fishing in the area, a blue marlin came in lesson for me, and I just really enjoyed it. And the emotion overtook me, and you know, we were hooting and hollering. There's such an aerial fish. They come out and they give you just an amazing show. You know, in the back of your head, you got House of Pain jump around playing, and it's just so much fun to see them come out of the water. And they're such a majestic, big fish. And then to finally get it up along to the side of the boat, and to talk to it, and just, you know, have a nice, safe release. You know, of course we had some fun. You know, like I drank a beer while we were doing it because it was hot out, and I was trying to stay hydrated. But again, having it up against the boat and being able to just realize from start to finish that was my fish. I loved it, super proud of it, and it went in the fish dye. Fuselage and body style to the other marlin, except it's got this wild sail that extends all the way down its body. And it's so cool, and it's such a neat thing, and to understand it and to see it in the water, it's just such a beautiful fish. It's one of my most favorite things to catch, and awesome to behold when you know that creation is
so beautiful, and this fish has this sail that it can utilize to turn on a dime and to present itself as a bigger thing to predators. Beautiful fish. Love the billfish family. If you want to learn more, follow us at Cabo Fishing Podcast, where you can learn more about the differences between the billfish family and how to catch them and where to catch them.
If you like seriously want to do it, like not only is it a huge financial commitment, it's also like a very huge physical commitment, and you need to train for it. Just like if you were gonna go elk hunting or bear hunting or any kind of big game on land, when you're coming out to the ocean to do big game, like you have to be physically fit. While yeah, you're not climbing mountains, however, you are standing on the deck of a boat that, as you can see, moves. At the same time, like you're holding on to a rod for an extended period of time with something on the other end of it that aggressively just journey with everybody and bring you along. And I'm going to tell you about all the mistakes I've made and all the lessons I've learned, because that's how you get better. And one of the guys I really look up to in fishing, reached out this morning and shared something with me, a word of encouragement, because everyone in the world's watching this tournament, and like your name's up there, and then the fish isn't what you think it is, and you learn a hard, embarrassing lesson. And like, I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that reaches out to somebody in a few years and says, hey man, I learned that lesson. Keep after it, keep fighting, and get back out on the water and keep fishing. And that's what we're doing right now. We're still strong in the Dorado, in the game fish section. We've already hooked up to a couple decent ones this morning, and I absolutely believe that we got a winner on us, or within our reach. So we're gonna get back to it. But think about your fitness. If you're coming down on a family vacation, hey, start working out. Get your wife involved, or if you're a gal, get your husband involved, get your boyfriend involved. Like talk about them beach muscles. Talk about like that summer bod, right? Even though you might be coming down in the fall or the winter or the spring or the summer, work on that.
No, I really enjoy the complexity, and that when you drink it, you're taking a journey of the producer. You're taking a journey of the family that grew the plant, that prepared the plant, that distilled the plant. It's to me, it's more of an experience than if I just get a drink. Yeah, these shot glasses, because these shot glasses are made from the recycled bottles from our bar. So like when we get so here at the porch, our extra or empty liquor bottles, not the extra ones, we drink those. The empty liquor bottles we take here in Cabo to the glass factory, which is only about a mile from here, and they crush it up, and then they make out of our like jettisoned or our like basura bottles, right? They make us our glassware. And I love the fact that when you drink with us, you're drinking something that artisanal.
I mean, I love tequila, and I love other like Mexican spirits. But the tequila, maybe the tequilana, wherever, it only needs to spend like 7 years, 6 years, sometimes 5 years. But this mezcal, this agave, Tepestate, 18 years. That's crazy, huh?
Yeah, no, I feel like
honestly, this is one of my favorite kinds of agave.
Okay.
It smells a lot. You tell me. There's it's like a how thing.
I'm like super excited about this product to be here. We've been looking and searching, with the porch and with our fishing clients, to have something special for them, like truly, deeply Mexican, for them to complement their experience.
You can find
here.
it,
and we have found it. I found it not too long ago at a very special dinner, and that's where we became friends. And I was excited about like bringing this down here
really
and sharing it with the world
and share this pretty nice mezcal with you.
While we've already had a couple of tournaments already in the year, it is really the sport fishing playoffs, right? The big show, the Super Bowl, the Big Daddy, the Cheyenne, the greatest show on earth is about to happen here in Cabo San Lucas. We got all the big billfish tournaments, all the money. The most talented anglers from across the globe are converging here in Baja California Sur for all the money. And I'm talking millions of dollars, not just in prize money, but in technologically advanced boats and the training and the talent that's gonna be here. It's amazing. We love it. All the boats are gonna line up in the bay, flares are gonna go off, shotguns are gonna be fired, Formula One's gonna be imitated, and we're gonna get those boats up on plane, out at speed, and into the... And on top of it, the Dorado at this time of year right now are really a respectable size. So it's a well-timed tournament, and it also gets everybody like in the mentality of being competitive, getting to the meetings, getting registered, making sure that your boat documentation is straight. All these things need to be done. All your licenses need to be up to date and accurate. To come into the working dock, and that's where they unload the big fish, and there's always a big crowd, and they got stages, and you know, there's music. It's a really cool like party atmosphere, but it's like a big excitement. And watching the fish being, you know, parting the Red Sea, if you will, of the crowd, it's just a beautiful scene, and to see everyone come and support it. That tournament also has game fish. So you'll see the Dorado, you see the Wahoo, you see the tuna. And so a lot of people get very excited to see that. And it's really interactive. The scale, biggest black and blue marlin, get it in their boat and get it to the scales on time. And it's monsters only. It is the most pure fishing tournament in terms of can you catch the biggest fish. The timing of the tournament's a little bit tough as the water temperatures are starting to get a little more settled. We're coming out of the storm season, so some of the larger fish have already vacated. So it's like you got 200 boats going for, you know, a handful of monster fish. But what they're really going for is millions of dollars. And, you know, anywhere between $4 and $11 million can be won in this event. It is unreal. It is the largest financial tournament around the world. And so it is a fun fish. It's a delicious fish, and everybody can get in on the action. You have a better chance of being able to go tuna fishing than marlin fishing when you look at it statistically across the table in terms of, you know, tourism. And so this allows a lot more people to participate. The money's not as big as the Bisbee Black and Blue tournament, so people can afford to get into it. And it is so professionally done. Western Outdoor News are an amazing organization and company. They just are exceptionally well run, ethically done, and they do so much to put into the conservation of the waters, not just here, but all up and down like the west coast of the United States into the Gulf of Mexico as well as the East Coast. As all these beautiful sea turtles emerge out of the Pacific Ocean, they crawl up onto the beach, dig deep holes so that they can lay their eggs and nest them, bury their treasure. This love story between this beautiful creature and these most special beaches begins with the digging of these nests, where 80 to 130 eggs will be placed gently and lovingly in these deep holes so that they can be safe from aerial predation, and then camouflaged with all the great numbers of tracks and nests. For 45 days, the eggs will lay in the temperate sands, protected from predation, where they will hatch and then be guided safely back to the Pacific Ocean, where they will begin their life's journey. Let's make sure that the trash is policed up so it's not confused for food or entangle or endanger these beautiful creatures as they work their way up and down these sacred and beautiful beaches. You can support these efforts by supporting Zulema Guibera at
Rancho San Cristobal, you can do that by buying a shirt from Marvita that supports her efforts. But most of all, tell this story, protect this earth, and we thank you for your conservation efforts.
Hands on her equipment. When you think about the average fishing rod, it probably goes out 20 times a year. Maybe it catches 10 fish. We go out 20 plus times a month, and we're catching 10 plus fish a week. And when I'm talking about fish, I'm talking about billfish, large mahi-mahi, wahoo, yellowfin tuna, as well as what we're kind of doing today is we're messing around and getting some like Cabria snapper, grouper, sea bass. And so it's important for me as a charter guy to be able to say, hey, this is what I actually need, and have someone create it. So John, if you want to kind of talk us through like some of the different rods and the purposes that we've asked you, to make them for.
Yeah, no problem. So on the spine of the rod, I'm a firm believer that maximizing the parabolic bend, i.e. building, whether it's a casting or traditional conventional setup or a spinning setup, you're maximizing the parabolic bend of the rod to help do the work for you and make it easier for you as the angler. So to me, one of the most important things is the parabolic bend. And you can tell if a rod has been built properly on the parabolic bend or not, just by going to your local bait and tackle shop, whether it's a small mom and pop or it's a big commercial place, and start grabbing rods and put flex on the rods. And if the guides rotate to the side as if you had a fish caught, then the rod's not built properly. A lot of people have different passions, but me, I really wanted to use a composite blank. And the reason why that I wanted to use a composite blank is because I'm using Torre fiber and E-glass on the blanks, right? Okay. And that does a couple of things. So the E-glass gives you that durability, that beat 'em up strong stuff that fiberglass brings to a blank, right? Or to a fishing rod. And then the graphite that's built in with the glass is gonna do a few things. It's gonna, one, increase your sensitivity. So that means you as the angler, or for you in your case, as the angler and or your customers, they get to feel more of the fight. They get to be more one with the fish, if you will.
That's right.
Because it's graphite, it reduces recovery time or recovery.
And know that with absolute full confidence, the rod's gonna withstand all that duress. And that's like what's really important and crucial to me is like, we put more duress, wear and tear on our gear than anybody else. Well, primarily the average fisherman, angler, and charter company for that matter. Like we put a lot more duress on our gear. We go out more, 330 days on the water a year versus 70 or 80, which I believe is kind of high numbers for a lot of places other than Cabo. So it's like there's a big need. We go through a lot of reels, because we're working the bearings more than anybody else. We're working the spines on the gearing more than anybody else. And it's so important to have this foundational piece of gear, right?
Not only do we do sport fishing, our company actively supports some of the other conservation efforts going on in the Baja, especially the southern Baja area. One program in particular that we're very passionate about is the assistance with the Pacific olive sea turtle, the olive Ridley sea turtle to be specific. And we love working with the folks over there at Rancho San Cristobal, and you can go and volunteer with this program and be part of the collection of eggs and the release of the hatchlings. And it's a really neat experience, and it's unique that you get this up close and personal connection with these most beautiful creatures. And it's so neat to participate in it. And we love how you can just see firsthand how meaningful these efforts are and how fragile the ecosystem is and what it really means. So thank you for your support.
Once again, Toby from the Cabo Fishing Podcast. We're wrapping up the year of our Lord 2023 and getting ready to begin the year 2024. And I'm excited about 2024 because it's even number and it's always fun for me. Our business right here in the background, we look forward to a great and prosperous year. We have a lot of great things coming up on the podcast. We hope you check in. We got some really cool special guests and some really neat interviews. We've already got some really good footage in the can that we're getting ready to unleash onto the world in 2024. So we're excited about that. So make sure you subscribe, Cabo Fishing Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, all the things. Also follow us on Instagram, Red Rum Sport Fishing, and any of the other people you like to follow, like me or whoever. Santiago, the fishing dog, will also be on Instagram in 2024, so watch out for him. And we're just excited for a great year, and we hope the best for your year. And we look forward to standing next to you and enjoying your successes as well.